Hello and welcome to the tutorial for Sable any percent. I am Adiza Critical, current world record holder for any percent current patch, and I'd like to make the speedrun as accessible as possible. So it's a very short run, so it's not too many things to explain, so I'd just like to go over a few things. And hopefully that clears up some doubts that people might have. First, let's go over settings. There's not much to say, but just a little bit. I play in windowed mode. It says exclusive full screen here. I don't know why it resets every time, but I am playing windowed mode. That's why my resolution is kind of strange. You can play in whatever resolution you want. It doesn't seem to change anything besides maybe it makes it a little bit faster to render if it's lower resolution. I'm not completely sure. I like to use 60 FPS. I think for speedruns it's either top frame rate allowed is 60. I play with everything else low because I believe it makes loadings a little bit faster and less likely for the game to drop frames. In field of view, I like to have it all the way up, but you can do whatever you want there. This is just how I like the game to look. I like to have the text large, so it makes it less likely for me to click something wrong, but as I said, it's just a matter of preference. I guess I can show you my controls. With the current patch, we can actually change controls. I have some things like the map button is on R instead of M. I don't think I change anything else, but you know, in current patch you have the choice to change controls, so it might be worth it to consider it. But that's basically it. Of course, to start we go new game and make a new save file. So timing doesn't actually start until after the first cutscene ends. So the easiest way for the timer to start, since we don't have an auto splitter, is to set up a timer that starts from minus 10 seconds, 0.6. That starts at when the camera changes here. So this here is the moment when the camera changes, the moment you'd start a timer with minus 10 seconds, 0.6, and then time starts at camera control like this. The way you do it, I'd like to show you. So these are my splits, for example, my live split. This is just live split. I use live split. I don't know how to use other editing software, but for live split, you can go into edit splits. And here, start timer at minus 10.60 should be good to do that. And then you'll have a timer, as you can see here, that says minus 10.6, and that is good enough. As I said, time starts at camera control. So when the timer starts, the camera will pan around to look at that, but you can like force it to stay towards like the exit. That's where you want to go. And as soon as Sable gets up, you can start running. I like to jump over here. You don't really need to. I just like to save a little bit of stamina. This is the fastest way to do this room. You just run on this. Keep in mind that if you are sprinting, you will jump further. Yeah, starting sprinting is kind of like wonky. Like as you can see, if I keep spamming sprint, you know, it takes a little bit for Sable to catch up. So it's a little bit a matter of timing. I recommend practicing this room a couple of times instead of like having to restart, you know, as you learn it. Just take like 10 minutes of your time and just practice doing this room consistently. So you just jump over here, or try to avoid a ledge grab, then run over here and jump over on this. You can avoid a ledge grab if you time your jump correctly and aim correctly, but if not, you'd get a ledge grab like this, which, you know, obviously loses you like a second or so. Alternatively, you can just like run over down here and like climb up again. After you get here, you are gonna have to climb these stairs. To do this fast, we use a thing called fast climbing. Usually climbing takes a little bit like this, consumes stamina, but you can actually climb faster and by not using stamina with fast climbing. Basically how it works is like you press spacebar and then immediately forwards, and that makes Sable do this animation of like going up, like grabbing onto the wall again as if you were grabbing for the first time. And as you can see, it barely uses stamina. Uses a little bit depending on how good you are at it, but yeah, as you can see, my inputs are very consistent. It's really just spacebar forward or jump forward if you're on controller. You can do it on controller too, it's not a big deal. It's not like completely crucial to get good at it for any percent. It's very much more important in all masks, but it does make climbing a little bit faster, right? So here you can fast climb once or twice and get up here, immediately start sprinting. In current patch, I find that it's like not as easy to like spam crouch a couple of times and continue running. So what I do is like do it a little bit slower, actually crouch beneath the thing and continue sprinting as soon as like you can't start sprinting when Sable is crouching, as you can see. So like you have to stop crouching and then start sprinting. It's a matter of timing, but it's like not a big deal. You lose like a second or so. After you are out of this place, just like jump forwards. You can like, if you land here, you won't have a landing animation. If you land over here, Sable is gonna like take a moment to recover. So it's kind of slightly better to hit this, or even better to like hit it while you're down. But honestly, just I recommend just like jump forwards and just go as far as you can. Then run over here, just keep sprinting. To manage stamina, you can do a little bit of whatever you like. Don't let it deplete completely, you will lose time. You can let it recover completely if you want, or just recover a little bit. Do what you prefer, just don't let it deplete completely. You've seen me do a little bit of tech here. I'm gonna explain it better later, but basically when you like run a little bit against the wall and jump like with the right timing, you can like get a little bit of a boost. It's barely noticeable here, but it's gonna be more noticeable in the future. You can do it there, you know, it might save you a couple of milliseconds and stuff, but it's not exactly crucial. I do it, but you jump over here, run over here. There's another important thing is that if you get into cutscene while you're still sprinting, you won't recover stamina. Instead, if you have stamina to recover and enter cutscenes while you're walking or running, not sprinting, you will recover stamina during the cutscene. And that's the difference between like having stamina when you're out of the cutscene or not having stamina. If you get a sense of where the triggers are for cutscenes, you can stop sprinting like a millisecond before. For example, here the cutscenes trigger is like over on the square in front of me. As you can see, like it's basically like halfway there. So if you like you start sprinting and then stop sprinting as you reach like this hand or whatever, you get in the cutscene without sprinting and you'll be fine. Here, this is just a cutscene. We can't skip it. So Jadi wants to talk to us. You can skip cutscene with both left mouse button and E. And interact, I think, if you change that button. So the best way to handle dialogues is just spam both of those as fast as possible. Here, you're gonna talk with Jadi as soon as like, as long as you get the compass, then you're gonna say thank you, and that's gonna be the last thing you do. A problem with the fact that you're spamming E and mouse button is that you also interact with the E, right? So there's a likelihood that you'll get into the dialogue again if you like leave it and continue spamming E. In that case, when you get to like the compass appears, I recommend just spamming left mouse button instead. It's gonna go a little bit slower, but you won't run into the issue talking with Jade again by mistake. Here, after the cutscene, you won't be able to move until you open the compass once. So just press Q once and then start running immediately towards here. You can jump in front of him, then dress is gonna like give you access to like the bike. Just spam through the dialogue until you get to the quest, then open the map and teleport back to Ibex camp. In Sable, depending on how fast your loadings are specifically and where you're loading and whatever, you can move a little bit during cutscenes. So in this case here, you'll see that if I am holding right, I might, as you can see, I'm all the way over here because I was moving during the cutscene. So in many places in the game during the run, you can move during loading screens. An important thing about loading screens and understanding when to start holding things and stuff to help with timing is you see this symbol that appears when you're loading. The loading ends always when the symbol goes away. Symbol appears, symbol goes away, now the game is gonna load. The game is never gonna open up while the symbol is still on screen. So you can use that to time a little bit your movement. A way to practice this is like let the game load, try to like understand what inputs you need to do to get to like the bike. You usually are trying to get to the bike, and then like teleport back and try doing it during the loading screen. Sometimes there's like audio tells when the game is has stopped loading and you can move in it. Sometimes there aren't. Personally, I just like practice it a little bit, and this is like a very hard one to understand. But yeah, as you can see, I got at least to the bike here, so that's good. After loading, get to the bike, and we go back to the temple to get our mask. We are in current patch, we have to clip through this wall right here. We're clipping through to avoid like the puzzle and cutscenes and stuff. The best way to clip in general is just bonk against the wall and leave the bike. And you can just walk out of things you clip them. Always in strife mode. I mean, that's not true. You can clip in even in drive mode, but it's harder because the Simoon like tilts more in strife mode. So what I recommend is like get enough close enough to the wall. It's better if you stop completely because being too fast will like make it harder for it to happen. Obviously, if you're trying to do it fast, you might not want to stop completely, but you know. And then bonk directly into the wall, because basically once you bonk into the wall, as you can see, Simoon like, you know, tilts in the direction of the wall usually. It's more of a matter of timing. You can't really wait to see what happens. But basically you can see Sable like clipping into the wall in when she's on Simoon, right? And that's basically you use the momentum of the bike. Because if you notice, like when you drop out of the bike, you like keep the momentum, you know, a little bit of the direction you're holding. Drop down of Simoon in any direction, as you can see. So you use that, and the fact that the Simoon is tilted and Sable is already like halfway through the wall to like clip into it. So that was a very long explanation. In any case, you can use this as reference. There's a little thing, a little bit on the right. Just bonk and clip through. You're gonna fall in here. You have to crouch here. I find that you can actually jump down at some point and get here, which I think speeds it up a little bit. Then we're just gonna run over here. We're out of bounds, clearly. Here, you remember that I talked about like jumping against the walls to get a little bit of a boost. This is like the main place where you use that. Basically, there's some walls where it works better. I think very straight walls, this is like a good place for it. Also, the end of this wall is pretty good sometimes, depending. There it is. But yeah, basically it's just like a matter of like running a little bit against it and jumping. Like sometimes you can see Sable like going a little bit slower against the wall. That's good, though it might, you know, lose you a little bit. But it kind of feels like Sable like stores a little bit of momentum when she's running against the wall, and then you just jump. So you can practice this a little bit and get some boosts out of it, which can, you know, help quite a little bit. We're gonna clip inbounds again here by climbing on an invisible wall. Here you can just climb up, or you can fast climb up if you're comfortable with that, and immediately step on the button. We're gonna step on a couple buttons, watch a cutscene, get a mask. I like to jump at the end of this. You have enough time to recover stamina in any case. But yeah, I like to jump to keep some momentum when you're out of stamina. You can actually get a boost out of this thing here. If you time it correctly, it's not the easiest. There it is. Then we have this cutscene. As soon as the cutscene is over, you can run towards the mask and get it. You won't be able to open the map immediately. You can only open it once the mission is appears. So spam the map button until it opens, or just wait and open it and teleport back to Ibex camp. As I said, you can move during cutscenes. Here you can just go straight, and you'll save a little bit. Cutscene trigger some moved between the first one and the second one. This one is like almost at the end of these stairs, so don't sprint all the way to the stairs, but like at the end, stop sprinting. You can actually spam this dialogue pretty fast. Usually we split here when Sable touches the ground, but you can split wherever you want. Then Sable's just gonna walk a little bit, and we're gonna call out Simoon. You can spam F and start sprinting as soon as Sable starts that. Go on, Simoon, and we're gonna go out. So here, the starting song is gonna start as soon as we go out of this gate. We are gonna have to blind drive for a little bit as the song plays. You can either wait to see where you are again and like turn right almost 90 degrees, more like 60 degrees on the right, so just press right a couple times. You know, the important part is that you go right. Personally, I do like a first tap as soon as the cutscene starts, then wait 5 seconds and tap two more times. This is what I do, but you don't need to do that. Obviously, you can do whatever you feel like. What I do recommend is that you get comfortable with this, because it can like steal a few seconds out of your run. So this is where my strat brought me. The best way to do this, in my opinion, is while you're doing a practice run, just go back to the gate, or just wait for the cutscene to end, get to the gate, understand where you want to go, and understand what inputs you're gonna have to do that. Knowing that the cutscene starts as you go through this point, basically. So basically, when we want to go right over here, this is what I do basically while I'm blind, and then basically this is what I like to do. But you can, you know, you can just wait a little bit and hold right, and that should be fine as well. Just find what you want. Where you want to go is here, basically. You're always gonna like appear around here. You understand you're like in a good place when that tower is on the right and you're on this dune. Sometimes you might get to those rocks over there. Being good at this blind driving can save you like quite a few seconds, so it's worth trying a little bit. Then this the driving sections, you'll get used to them as you do them, right? But if you are having trouble knowing where to go in your first runs, I recommend having draw distance like a normal on medium, so you can see waypoints much further away. That helps, especially with Chum Lair, which is kind of far away. But in general, now that there's the angler, you can like use that as reference. You're gonna stay a little bit on the right towards it, and then you'll see, as you can see, Chum Lair is over there. Just want to go straight towards it. There's like theories on how to do driving better. Obviously this is not a very good example, but basically I prefer to just go straight towards my direction and try not to like do terrible jumps and stuff. You can like adjust Simoon as soon as she's landing. When she lands, you have like time, like don't let her just do whatever she wants, you know, just try to adjust the drive, if that makes sense, to keep balance. So we are at Chum Lair. We're gonna bring Simoon in. I've seen people climb over there. That seems fast, but it fails more often than not for me. I prefer to go on this side and still driving, go up here like this, and as soon as I'm up, go in strafing mode because strafe gives you like much more control. And then when you're like in a straight line in here, continue driving. And I like to go on the left because it makes it easier to drive. Just, you know, in drive mode, just go straight and you'll be fine. Then we're gonna have to we get to here, switch to strife, and we're gonna clip into Chum Lair, right? Or to get the Chum mask. As I said, best way to clip into walls, in my opinion, with Spike, is just go straight towards it. And it's a matter of timing, so it's gonna take practice. But when Sable like clips into the wall, keep holding forwards because that's gonna help Sable go forwards, and you're gonna clip through. Then get the mask, open up the map, and teleport back to Chum Lair. Here you can move during cutscene. This is how it spawns. You can move up left. Actually, if you're good enough, you can go up left while still in loading screen. Go on Simoon and start driving forwards. It's not easy, but and it depends how fast your loading screens are and stuff. But after leaving Chum Lair, you can just go straight over here, and we're gonna go to Eccria because that's where the shade mask is. So this, I'm gonna show you the road I take. You should try to avoid jumps like that, but as you can see, like changing, like pressing right and left in as Simoon was doing strange things, like gave me a little bit more control. You can actually like control Simoon more than it seems by doing these micro adjustments. But yeah, it's a little bit luck based on how well you know Simoon is gonna go on any given jump. I go over here. You're gonna be disoriented in the first times you do this, but it's basically just go straight, using big recognizable things like this, rocks formations, and here I like to go straight towards, like on the right of this ship, and over this. I don't really avoid doing so all that much myself, but you're free to find the journey that most suits you or whatever, or you think is more efficient. Like that big jump is probably like not the best thing ever. So we're approaching Eccria. I stay on the right over here. Eccria is right over there, but the entrance is a little bit on the left, so I actually like stay over on this side, like point at that rock over there. I think that's like the fastest way. Not 100% sure, but I think that's it. It's a little bit of hit or miss how these drives are gonna go, but as long as you keep as straight as of a line as possible, you know, you're probably gonna save time. Then we're gonna go over here. You can actually bonk on these, so avoid them. And we are here at Eccria. It's important, obviously, to get the checkpoint, the teleportation point, but it's basically unavoidable. Here, I'm gonna show you what we usually do. In current patch, you can't bring Simoon into the water very easily, so we just like yeet ourselves. This is not the best yeet ever, but yeah, we are gonna just jump over here and get the shade mask like this. Apparently it's a little bit more complicated, but you can still bring Simoon into the water in current patch. Basically, you just have to go into the water enough for to get out of Simoon, and then if you go back in, you'll be here, which might save some time, might not, depending on how fast you do it, but that's an alternative. In any case, in current patch, the current fastest route is still like after you get a shade mask, you teleport back to Eccria. In Eccria, the loading screen, you can go straight right back to save some time to go towards the bike. Then mount on Simoon, and we're gonna go over to this little village over here, because there's a message box, a bot, because we have enough masks to go back home and decide what to do with our lives. So in current patch, we have to teleport back to Eccria to get back here. In Legacy, we could actually go easily with Simoon underwater, so we could just right back out. So here, you saw the little curve I did there and jump forward. That actually, if you get a good one, can save you a couple of seconds. So that was a pretty good one. Then talk to the PostBox, spam a little bit, not too much, or you'll talk to it again. Try to get comfortable with how long it is and start spamming only left mouse button towards the end. And then teleport back to Ibex camp. In Ibex camp, again, the bike is on the right, so you can start holding right and left and down to get to Simoon faster. We are actually gonna bring Simoon closer to the cutscene to have access to it after cutscene. So to do that, you just strife. The best way is to strife up this cliff over here, aim at the stairs, and drive forwards until you get to the cutscene trigger. Then spam through the dialogue, and I like to hold W because I don't really know when the input stops being relevant. But this is another unskippable cutscene. Kind of long one too. And as you can see, there's Simoon right over there in the cutscene too, so that was successful. The fade out is where we usually split, but you can split whenever you want. Pop. Here we're gonna talk to Jadi again. So usually you just aim at her and go forward, then start spamming. Here you actually have to choose a dialogue option, so don't completely spam forever. You have to choose I'm ready to choose. After I'm ready to choose, the dialogue is almost over, so I recommend spamming only left mouse button so you don't risk talking to her again, because if you do, you have to choose speak to someone else, so you know, you might end up talking to her way too much and lose time. Then run back to Simoon, which might be over here, might be a little bit forwards, might be a little bit backwards. The important part is like is in this zone. And we go on the left here and down. There's like a cutscene over there that would take Simoon away from us, but we need Simoon because we have one last clip to do. So we go over here and we're gonna clip into the temple yet again. Through here. It's a bit harder in current patch than it was in the past. You can do it by going forwards like this, strafing, and it's very hard to understand what's going on, but basically, yeah, Simoon will like start rotating a little bit and stuff. We want to clip through this like lighter colored wall over here. Sable has to be like partially through it to clip through it. But you can, as I said, just drive forwards and like hope to God you clip through. Like right now we clip through the left one, which is very easy, but not the right one, which is what we need. If you time it correctly, you'll get through. Personally, since in all masks, this clip is kind of hard to do with the different bike we use, I got used to doing it backwards. Like I just go in backwards and then, because I find that, I don't know, it makes it kind of easier for me to clip. But, you know, do practice this clip or you might lose like a minute of your time just failing it because you can't really see what's going on, you know, you don't really understand when you're gonna clip through, when you're not gonna clip through. Just find a setup that kind of works for you consistently and do that, because, yeah, that can ruin your run. After we're just here again, we should recognize this place. You can actually get some boosts out of this wall at the end as well, so that's good. And just run over down here and it triggers the ending cutscene. Here, you're gonna get control back to Sable. We'll run to the closest mask, which is the Chung mask. And time ends at clearance of the last text box. So after this, boom, time. And then we watch this cutscene, which we actually avoided. And but time is actually done, so GG. And if you have any question, if I missed anything, let me know. I can add some information like in the comments or whatever. And enjoy running this beautiful game.